Hey traders, Sam Shakespeare coming to you live. How's everyone doing today? Let's get a little feedback. Alright, happy Monday guys. I'm looking forward to a good week. There's Jeffrey. What's up, Jeffrey? Alright, hey Corey. How's it going? It's Savannah's in the house. Hey Savannah. Welcome to everyone else. Let me take a sip of my coffee and we'll get started. A lot of stuff I want to talk about today. I actually want to write a few notes down. First things first, guys. You look at these grids, what do I see? I see clear roads on dollar Canada. I see clear roads on cable, pound dollar, dollar Canada, pound yen actually. But look at pound yen. Here's a little thing about pound yen. There's valley bottoms. This is an hour. Right, so let's first go to the 1 minute, and we'll get to all this stuff. All right, so first we look at the 1 minute cable, and we're thinking, okay, this looks pretty good, right? We got clear roads and lower lows and lower highs on the 1 minute, and we got an expanding white zone. First thing you think of is, yeah, that does look pretty good. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is just move up a time frame. Move up. Why does it look good, I say? Let me get to you guys. Because the white zone is expanding. The chart is making lower lows and lower highs. And the L1 is below the L2 almost. It's about to cross. And below the L7. So everything's under the L7. And they're all pointing down, right? L1's leading them to, and then lower lows, lower highs. That's a good looking chart. But it's only one time frame. And it's only a 1 minute time frame. Not very convincing by itself. So if we move up to the 5 minute, we want to see the same type of pattern, right? And we do. We see expanding white zone. We're all under the L7s. We see the L1 pointing down, the L2. So it does look pretty good on so far. Let's go one more time frame. Why not? Okay, it does actually look good on all three time frames. Now here is the tricky part that can get you sometimes. Ideally, right? Ideally, every time frame would look like this, right? Every time frame, but if you go all the way up to the daily and they're all downtrending, that probably means it's been downtrending a while. You're probably going to hit a bottom at some point. The more confirmation you get on a trade, at some point it turns into you being too late, right? I mean, there's always this balance you're playing on how much confirmation you need and not jumping in too early, right? But then if you wait too long for too much confirmation, you end up jumping too late. So you got to find that right amount of confirmation on a trade that gives you confidence, and that's in between that level of being too early and being too late, right? It's an art form. I use things like the dynamic entries and other things like that to try to give you the right amount of confirmation. Ideally, on this pound yen that we just talked about, everything looks good on the 1, 5, and 15, and we're moving down. We got clear roads. It looks pretty good. I'd probably give it a shot. But for giggles, let's look at the hour. Now this is where you start to think cautiously. All right. Clearly the hour's not in a trend. All right. Clearly we're in a range, and we're almost at that range. This is like a valley bottom. So even though the trend looks good on the first 15 minutes, and this would fool the VTA and the EA probably, unless I ask for another time frame of expansion, which I might actually test that where it requires an hour, 15 minute, a 5 minute, and a 1 minute, all expanding white zones. This hour time frame keeps me out of this pound yen right now, because I think, why get it short here? Look at this thing. We're right near the bottom of this range. It's not doable. All right, so you need to be out in front of all this stuff, and we're not. So I'm going to pass on pound yen because of this hour chart. Even though the 15 looks pretty good, we're in a downtrend, expanding white zones. Even though the 5 minute looks good, downtrend with expanding white zones, and even though the 1 minute. Because outside of this, we did a little more research and we see there's a valley bottom out here. So let's look at pound dollar. We got 1 minute. It looks pretty good, except since we've been talking, we've made a higher high. So already this 1 minute is disqualified. Let's look at the 5 though. That looks good. It looks a lot like this pound yen, I think, probably. Let's look at the 15. I mean, that looks good. Expanding white zone. The same type of deal. I bet the hour is going to look very similar. It does. It almost looks identical. Look at these 2 hour charts. So, I mean, honestly, guys, I would not bother with these right now. It's Monday. It's not definitely trending. This is not a nice, solid, definite trend. I mean, it's trending on the lower time frames. That just means it's moving to the bottom of the range and the bigger time frame. So this little bit, if you cut this out, yeah, it looks like a little downtrend. But if you get the bigger picture, you see it's really just within a range here. There's 30 pips to the bottom there, but there's like 80 pips to the top. So you don't want to be short. You don't do trend trades in a range market. Now I know they look like range again on the 1, 5, and 15. They look like trends, but that's because they're trending within a range. They're trending to get to the range bottom, and then when they bounce, they'll trend up on the lower time frames to get to the range top. So even though we're in a trend down right now, when we see this valley bottom here, these are valley bottoms. You don't take trends into valley bottoms. Just don't do it. So it's one thing we talk about with trends. If they look good, making lower lows and lower highs on the 1, 5, and 15, great. But just take an extra look on that hour and make sure there's not a valley bottom or a mountaintop coming up. And in this case, and I know if maybe a couple new guys just stepped in the room, so I'll show you again. Now the 1 minute may not be expanding anymore, but earlier we looked at the 1 minute, it was expanding. It's collapsing now, but earlier it was expanding over here. But this, you can see this start to expand soon, so this could start looking good soon again. And then you look at the 5 minute, and that's expanding. See that? Boom, lower lows. And then you look at the 15 minute, and you say, man, this thing's trending, right? That's a nice trend. Just to one more time frame. That's all I'm saying. Go to the hour. It's not trending. It's trending within a range. So don't short here if you know it's bounced the price here and here. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to tell you when you're manually trading the trends.